Hello, BC. This is Vinyl Talk with Tavis, and I'm Tavis. What a privilege it is to be a part of the vinyl community here on YouTube. When I found out that people were sharing their vinyl with each other on YouTube, I was so excited, and it inspired me to want to do that too. I remember being a little boy and but actually getting vinyl from my relatives. And I would go to their houses and they would be playing music, and I'd want to take some of the music home and play it on my little stereo that I had back in the day, probably in the late 70s. I was born in 72, so I came into vinyl at about the age of 9 or 10. And then, cassettes came. 8-tracks were the worst kind of media. Oh my God, that's another video. But when cassettes came along and CDs came along, I threw away all of my vinyl. I had so many great pieces. And it's just good to reconnect with those pieces, as they call it physical media, they call it these days. And I like physical media now, even more so at the age of 46. So today I'm going to share with you some of my favorites that I have so far with regard to rhythm and blues, or R&B. And because this is Black History Month, I thought it would be even more appropriate to share this great music with all of you. R&B is what I mostly listen to, and gospel music, and some other genres, but mostly rhythm and blues, R&B, soul music as we call it. So let's begin. We know who this is. This is Sister Sledge, and this is when they worked with Chic in the late 70s. If I could go back in time and be this age, I would choose the 70s, because I feel like I'm such a 70s type of person. I would be on those dance floors at Studio 54. I would definitely be there. And this album really takes you there. And the girls were beautiful, just great music. Although I think I hear more of Chic than I do the actual girls. Sister Sledge. But if you are familiar with this album, give me a thumbs up, okay? Because I love this record. I remember being a little boy, and my aunt had this album, and I would just gaze at this album cover for hours. I thought it was so, I didn't know what it was back then, but now I know what it is. Sexy, beautiful, luxurious, all those things, and even more. And I would just gaze and just like, wow, they're so beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Great, great album. We Are Family. That's the name of the album. Of course you knew that. Okay, this will have to be, they're not considered R&B, but they just crossed over so many genres. The Bee Gees, Spirits Have Flown, or Spirits Having Flown. To me, this is my favorite Bee Gees album. Wow. Oh. I'll be reaching out. I'll be reaching out. I mean, okay, I'm a singer, everybody. I'm a singer, but I'm having some issues. And cheers, by the way. Be inspired. A little hot chocolate. See if I can do that again. I'll be reaching out. Oh, yeah. No, I don't have it tonight. But anyway, great songs on here. The first song is Tragedy. Tragedy! We were both on the tragedy. But I don't so on the I never do understand what they're saying fully. But just a great album. Oh my heavens. I was so happy to have found this. It is a gatefold. See? Ah. And you know, there's a new video. I don't know if it's an actual new video, but there's an interview with the only living BG left. And he talks about how he misses his brothers and how he's on tour and he still thinks that they're there. And it's just amazing how life just turns and turns, and the people you love and how they pass away, but you still carry on. And he calls himself the last man standing. And I appreciate these guys' work. And there's some other albums that I'll show, or at least one more, that showcases how wonderful they were and still are in our lives. Here is the fantastic Anita Baker. She was here in Kansas City, which is where I live, Kansas City, Missouri. She was in Kansas City, Missouri, maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. I'm not quite sure, and I didn't get a chance to go. But this is a fantastic album. It sounds good on vinyl. It sounds good on my turntable there. It has the songs Priceless. Giving You the Best That I Got is the name of the album. And here's the back. And you know, she is currently on her last tour, but her voice is fantastic. I've heard or seen video clips on Twitter and Instagram, and she's just doing her thing on tour, and she doesn't see herself doing any more albums. But this, I think, was her second album after the Rapture album. Okay, so great reviews on this one. Remember I showed you the Bee Gees album, you know? You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Saturday Night Fever, and it takes me back to my disco. I love disco. And John Travolta doing his thing. And just every song on this album is a jam. I also have the CD, and I play it in my car all the time. And I also have Spotify, and I play it on that too. Okay? So, woo! What great songs. I mean, Staying Alive and ha, 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 staying alive, staying alive. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to love, 'cause we're living it. I could go on. If I Can't Have You. Yvonne Elliman. I loved that song back in the day. I still love it to this day. One of my favorite albums of all time. Well, I get a little sad on this particular showing of this vinyl. You know, we lost Aretha Franklin in August. And it was a great turnout for her memorial service, and where she lay in rest, and people were coming from all over the world. But this is the album that really got me going for Aretha Franklin. Of course, we knew about her, or I knew about her in the early 80s and late 70s. But when this came out and we heard Freeway of Love, I was like, this woman has taken gospel to the world. And she had been doing that before. But the way she sings, to me, she was just in her prime. I think she was in her early 40s when she did this album. And it just makes me so happy to hear her sing. Every song is the bomb. I think the artwork is superb. And I was so glad to have found this in one of my local record stores here in Kansas City. The store that I shop at more here in Kansas City is Mills Records. It's a great place. It's family owned, and they just have all types of vinyl. And they have a variety. And I found this, and it's in very good condition. It's like mint condition. So I'm so proud of this album. Who's Zooming Who? Great album. You know what? I wasn't really familiar with this album of the Spinners until I was looking on YouTube, just searching for Spinners music, and this came up, and I heard the song called You're All I Need in Life. I wasn't familiar with that tune, and I was just floored. It's such a mellow, this to me, this is a mellow album, except when you get to the Rubber Band Man. This song has, hey y'all, prepare yourself for the Rubber Band Man. Great music. It takes you back to the 70s, and it has Now That We're Together, You're All I Need in Life, my favorite. If You Can't Be in Love, The Rubber Band Man, Tony My Love, Four Hands in the Fire, The Clown. The introduction to The Clown itself is mesmerizing. I just love it. And Wake Up Susan, highly recommended. This album came out in 1976. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was 4 years old, and I highly recommend this as well. Well, I'm going to share with you my favorite R&B artist of all time, Diana Ross. Yep. When I was a boy, I was completely in love with this woman. Every time she come on the TV, I would cry. Every time I heard her music on the radio, I would just have the biggest smile on my face. And my dad thought that I was crazy. You know, I had her posters and all over my room. I had this hanging up in my room. Excuse me. I had this. Oops. Let's bring it down just a little bit. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was so in love with Diana Ross. I still am. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Mirror, Mirror. Remember that song? And to me, those were my favorite songs. Why Do Fools Fall in Love and Mirror, Mirror. Of course, Why Do Fools Fall in Love comes from Frankie Lyman? Yes, Frankie Lyman. But I tell you, I treasured this so much as a boy. And when I found this in the record store, I went back to a little boy. I said, oh my God, Diana Ross. So she's my favorite R&B artist of all time. When she moved from the Supremes, I love the Supremes too. But when she went solo, it was like, wow, she's doing her thing. Here's another fantastic, if not the best, Anita Baker album ever, Rapture. Every song is worthy to play. You ever have those records where a few songs you like and some you don't, and so you may skip over? With this record, you listen to every song and you get up and you turn the record over and you listen to the other side. And there's no skips. You love every song. Sweet Love, You Bring Me Joy, Caught Up in the Rapture, Been So Long, Mystery, No One in the World, Same Old Love, Watch Your Step. Classic album to have in your vinyl collection. It's really hard to understand that she's doing a farewell tour, because you think she'd make more music, but I understand. She has set herself in stone with her great music. I do plan on getting I want to get a new reissue of this because I don't like having this. Someone had signed it and I bought it at a used record store somewhere in town. Not here in Kansas City, it was someplace else. Actually, it was here. It was at Mills Records, yeah. But I want to get a brand new copy. Okay, kiddos, ladies and gentlemen, VC community. Oh, VC. Barry White. This was another album that I heard on YouTube first and didn't know that he had done this. To me, it's hard to find this. It's not on any streaming services. And so I went on eBay and found it new and sealed. And it's just Barry White doing his thing with the Love Unlimited Orchestra. And it's one of those records where you just play it all the way through. There's no skips. You love every song. At least I do. And it has the songs Bring It On Up, Making Believe That It's You, I Wanna Stay, Give Up Your Love Girl, You're All I Want, It's Only What I Feel, Midnight Groove, and Forever in Love. Every song is the bomb. You see all the people working in the studio rehearsing for the album. Great condition, this album. It was sealed, so it's fantastic. I was so glad to have found this. I think I'll have another drink here. Tell me if you don't know who these girls are. These lovely ladies. The Emotions. Their album Rejoice. Produced by Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire. What a great album. Of course, you know. Whoa, you've got the best of my love. Whoa, you got the best of my love. They got my love. These girls got my love. This album is another one of those records where you just play all the way through. No stops. I have an aunt who had this album back in the day. I actually think she had the 8-track. 8 tracks. What a waste of space. Anyway, what a great record. You should have this in your record collection. The Emotions, Rejoice. I have 2 more, ladies and gentlemen. VC. You can't go wrong with a Chaka Khan record, can you? Can you go wrong with a Chaka Khan record? I don't think so. I don't think so. This album is called Naughty. Let's look at this album. Let's just take a look. What's going on here? So we have her man looking at her getting dressed, her little daughter, probably a pretending daughter, I'm not sure, or an actor or something. But I just love that setup. And he's probably saying, what are you doing getting ready? Where are we going? It's like, I'm going out. That's where I'm going because I'm naughty. When I was a little boy, I was trying to think about the scenarios of this album cover or the artwork. Look at there on the back. She's going to dress up like her mama. At least in the scene of the artwork. See? The songs on here include Clouds, that was written by Ashford and Simpson. Get Ready, Get Set, Move Me No Mountain, Nothing's Gonna Take You Away, So Naughty, Too Much Love, All Night and All Right, What You Did, Papillon, which is AKA for Hot Butterfly. That's a great song. And Our Love Is in Danger. This is a great, great record. I love Chaka. Chaka. Chaka, 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 Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan. That's another song, right? Okay. You need this. Lastly, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite Dionne Warwick albums, Heartbreaker. Remember, I spoke earlier about the Bee Gees, okay? Andy Gibb and the Bee Gees produced this record. They were so hot back in the 80s. I mean, it seems like that all of their songs that they had written for different artists were in the top 10 at the same time. You know, they had Barbra Streisand's Guilty album. or at least Sandy Gibb was really involved in that, if not all the way through. And he also worked with Dionne Warwick. Heartbreaker. This album is really, really cool. It's just really nice to listen to. And the artwork is great. And you see, I bought it like this. It has a little cut in there. I want to get one that's really in good shape. But this is a fantastic album. Why do you have to be a heartbreaker? Is it a lesson that I never knew? Gotta get out of the spell that I'm under. My love for you. My love for all of the vinyl community out there, sharing your records with all of us. Hey, it's been a joy talking with all of you. Please subscribe and like if you've enjoyed what you've heard. And if I didn't tell you before, be and stay inspired.